Hello everybody and welcome to Team Fortress TV. I'm a little breathless from watching that promo video, but we're very excited here for what's to come this evening as we are getting ready here to bring you a Week 5 Prem fixture between Perilous Gaming and Crown eSports. My name is Getawhale, and you know what? There's some excitement in the air. There's some giddiness. Because, in fact, for both of these teams, as well as my co-caster, in fact, Sideshow, it's kind of like Christmas Eve. You guys are all headed to Sweden tomorrow for DreamHack. In just under 24 hours, you'll all be there. How similar is this to Christmas Eve, Sideshow? What are the similarities?
I'd say I'm more excited to go to DreamHack Summer than for Christmas Eve since I was about, I don't know, 6 years old or something like that. It's an intense level of excitement that's really only peaked by the game that we have before us, Getawhale.
Yeah, well, I mean, it should be fantastic. As I mentioned, both of these teams are obviously going to be there, and we have a lot to talk about, so let's get down to it. One of the first things that I wanted to talk about is that we'll be seeing a lineup here, a DreamHack-specific lineup for Perilous. We won't be seeing Silentes, correct?
Yeah, that's true. Silentes is available for this fixture, but rather than that, Perilous have decided to go with their DreamHack roster, which features Tech on Pocket and Mike on Roma as well, so getting warmed up for that.
Yeah, which is not too bad, although, you know, people like to kind of talk about Tech maybe being confused or whatnot on the forums, but they don't know what they're talking about. We're going to see what actually happens here today. Do we want to run down the rosters then? First things first, Sideshow?
Yeah, absolutely. We'll take a look at the Perilous roster then, just to start ourselves up. We're going to bring that up on the screen for you guys, and we can start running through that one. So Perilous have been at the top of the ETF2L scene for quite some time. I mean, they haven't been right at the top. That's normally been the position where Nameless occupy, but yeah, it's been they've been up and around there. But their roster features Kos, Ale, Aston the Pocket Scout, Mike, and Tech for tonight. Although Silentes is up on your screen. Oh, I have to reload the old stats here. I have to. I always break them. I always break them. I'm not sure how I manage.
Guys, right, Sideshow needed the overlay in order to know who the players on Perilous were. Can we just record that in the...
Okay, right, we're back on track here. We're back on track. So this overlay has Mike and Silentes on here, but obviously, as we talked about, Tech is going to be picking up Pocket tonight, and in fact for DreamHack Summer as well. So this really is going to be a prequel of the DreamHack Summer Showdown, which is actually their first fixture as well. So as soon as these guys arrive on the scene, it's going to be Perilous against Crowns in the first round of the upper bracket. So it's certainly going to be interesting, especially if, you know, if certain people are favored on certain maps tonight, then we might see some strategic bans and stuff like that. So there's a few mind games coming into it here as well, Getawhale.
Absolutely, and we kind of alluded to that before we went live here, wondering, you know, is there any secret weapon that might get brought out and saved for DreamHack, you know? Are these teams going to kind of save some in the tank, so to speak, for that? Remains to be seen here this evening. On the other side, here we go. We've got the Crown eSports roster. We have, of course, on Kaya. We have Smear. We have AMS and Tiger. We have Atomic and Perez.
Yes,
as we have a look at some of the stats there.
Bevan is going to be playing tonight instead of Perez, as he is going to be playing for them at DreamHack Summer as well. So we really do have two DreamHack Summer rosters going up against each other here, rather than the two ETF2L rosters. So one person changed on either side. It's going to be interesting, really, to see what Bevan puts in compared to Perez. Perez is really renowned for his excellent deathmatch skills, but the way that this whole Crowns roster has fit together, theoretically on paper looks brilliant, but the way that they've been performing this season has been less than optimal. Their scouts have been a real letdown, really, compared to the potential that they should have been able to get to. It just hasn't been working for Crowns. So if they want to start turning things around, certainly before DreamHack, then this has to be the beginning.
Yeah, absolutely. And some of you might have been here on Team Fortress TV just a couple days ago and watched Crowns get spanked comfortably It wasn't even close during the little, I guess, show match that they played. I mean, you said it. I think that Crowns are certainly the ones who have to kind of prove something here, not only this evening, but in the next couple of days as well. We have a look at some of the head-to-head stats here. And,
yeah, the head-to-head ones are pretty interesting, actually. For some reason, our system has put Ast up against Amps, which I don't think is a very fair comparison.
No,
but
it looks close to me, though.
Yeah,
That's
it certainly does, yeah.
For a skeleton soldier.
Ast is a baller.
My lord.
We'll take a look at the medic head-to-heads, though, instead, though.
Yeah. This might make a bit more sense here as we look at Chaos and Unkaya. Tell us, I mean, give us in your own words, this comparison here between the two meds Sideshow. Is there we see some differences, especially I'm looking at drops, 8 drops for Unkaya.
Yeah, Kos really is excellent at being able to understand when he's able to use an Uber and when he's able to milk it. It's one of his strengths is being able to understand that kind of thing. He plays slightly more aggressive than some of the other top level medics. I mean, if you think about the real elite level medics within TF2, we're talking kind of Shade, Nox, Merlin, Permzilla, people like this. They tend, or apart from Merlin really, they tend to be playing that kind of slightly more passive style. They really conserve their deaths, or try and limit their deaths above all else. Kos doesn't really play that style. He tends to try and put more heals into his team and try and milk the Ubers, dodge around a little bit more. But they're certainly both accomplished medics. I don't think that Onkara is the problem. But what I'd particularly like to take a look at is the battle of the Swedish demo men as well, because we've got Ale up against Smira, and Smira, he tends not to perform online, but when he gets to LAN, he is kind of a different beast. So this one could be super interesting, especially because Ale has never attended a LAN before.
Yeah, I mean, that'd be interesting to see as well as kind of, well, I don't want to say newer, but I'm wondering about this map. We are playing on Reckoner, as we sort of alluded to off the top here, and some areas of this Reckoner map, I mean, there are some choky areas, some small kind of tight doors. I mean, do you think that, I mean, is this going to favor both demos? Are they pretty much equal, or what are we expecting to see on, map-wise?
Map-wise, it's kind of a difficult one to call because I mean, if you think classically about these two demo men, Smira plays a very low-impact style, but he can occasionally get caught out. He doesn't tend to do the flashy kind of stuff, whereas Ale is almost the complete opposite. He will go in for the kind of big plays. He'll occasionally get baited into overextending, but at the same time, he can just come out absolutely huge. He's not the kind of guy that will constantly get caught out and constantly overextends in order to make the huge plays and hit all the and stuff, but just occasionally by the top teams can get baited out of position. However, when he's playing against a team like Crowns, I expect him to be absolutely slamming them, because I don't think Crowns are in a position where they can punish him for occasionally getting out of position. So I expect Ale to have a really big map here, actually.
Fantastic. Any other head-to-heads that we're interested in looking at here, Sideshow?
No other head-to-heads particularly, but what I do have is just the general standings, which is quite interesting for Season 24, because we can see that Perilous are at the top of the table after only 8 games played, whereas Nameless, who before coming into the season, almost everybody, I can't really think of anyone serious who would have pegged them to be any lower than anybody else in ETF2L, because they have just been pounding for the last, 3 seasons or something, and now they've dropped quite a few maps. I mean, you can see there that they lost 3 maps. That was 2 to Lego and 1 to PC Master Race. PC Master Race languishing in 7th at the moment, so this has just opened the way for Perilous to get right at the top of ETF2L. So if they can come up with 2 maps here, that'll be absolutely perfect for them. They'll carry on with this first place spot, and I mean, even if they actually drop both maps, they'll still be in first place, but it's nice to open up a bit of a lead,
Yeah, and I mean, certainly, Crown's the underdogs, hoping, I mean, they're just kind of on that bubble as of right now, hoping to at least pick up something here in terms of points. Do we want to talk predictions? I mean, I guess I don't have to ask you what team you think down in your heart will win. So how about I ask you this? What do Crowns have to do this evening if they want to take a map or 2? What's the key for Crowns?
I think the key for Crowns is that the scouts really have to be playing closer to the combo, and they have to stop giving away picks. The thing with Crowns is that they occasionally have these games when they're scrimming, or just occasionally they'll have matches where they all perform to the best of their ability, and I don't in an individual sense where each player is just like hitting all their shots or dodging everything or playing the Ubers perfectly. I mean that in a team sense where they just sometimes they'll just gel and it'll work really well. Amsel will be taking the Ubers quite well. They'll have the scouts coming afterwards. Atomic's flanks will work out and they'll be well timed, and it all seems like it could be working well for them, but when it goes wrong, they constantly bleed people. Atomic dies, Tiger's left on his own and then gets picked off. They've actually got Buttnose in as well at the moment, so that's interesting. I wasn't aware that they were using a Merc. That may be instead of AMS, it looks like, so that could be a big pocket Buttnose coming up. That could change things, although he has been absolutely slamming in the few fixtures where he's merked for teams, so who knows?
Well, we'll have to have a look. Certainly, he's getting ready. I wanted to ask about off-classing, because to some people still, this Reckoner map is a little newer, and if people haven't really been watching a lot of competitive, I mean, they might not have seen a lot of this map. Are we expecting any big sniper plays? Who are the sniper superstars here, if anybody?
Perez occasionally goes on sniper for Crowns. So I don't know whether the Bevan will try and pick up that role, given that Perez isn't actually here. Maybe Atomic will as well. Neither of them are really renowned for their sniping plays, whereas Thalash is on the side of Perilous. He is renowned for his sniper. It's not really that much of a sniper map until you get to last, though. If you're sniping on second, there really aren't great sight lines, and if you're sniping on mid as well, I wouldn't really recommend it. I don't think it's the best thing to do. But on last, if you want to just get a pick in order to open things up, then you can get a decent avenue on sniper, especially defensively as well, if you try and run that. So we could see a few sniper v sniper fights on the last point, but I would have to give that one to Thalash. He's pretty much the only player on the server who can consistently bring a big game on sniper.
Fantastic. We did pull up the betting odds on this match, and they are, as you would expect, kind of slanted. 92-8 is what I saw in favor of Perilous, certainly. So there will have to be some big plays out of somebody or out of multiple people on the side of Crowns if they can pull this off today. Second map this evening is going to be Gully Wash after this. So do we want to talk actual numbers here? What are we predicting for the Reckoner map, Sideshow?
I think for Reckoner, we'll probably... It's a difficult one to call because I haven't really seen too much of Crowns playing on Reckoner. I know that Perilous are fairly comfortable on this map. I mean, it's a new map, so things can always go slightly wonky, and they have Tech, who really hasn't played much of this map and may get caught out a few times with his positioning and stuff, but I think we'll see something like a 6-3. I don't think we're going to see like a super slow-paced game as we saw with classically Nameless against Lego. I don't think we'll see that kind of thing. I think both of these teams will be able to deliver on the last pushes, but maybe 3 rounds is even giving too much credit to Crowns. We might see something maybe more like a 5-1 or a 5-2. Not really sure. I'm expecting a fairly large round difference in favor of Perilous here, though.
Okay, we're getting word here now that we're swapping servers, Sideshow.
Always a fan.
Good time for, yeah, always a fan. Good chance if you guys in Twitch chat, have ideas of how this one might go. Give us your preds. And certainly, yeah. I mean, I am expecting, I mean, just from the lineup alone, I mean, you think just from the talent that Crowns have that they can put it together, but we've been proven wrong. I mean, I don't know how many people expected Crowns to get kind of whomped as badly as they did against Comfortably Spanked there a couple nights ago. So maybe that might have been, I don't know, maybe they've been hitting the gym since then or something like that, or they've been, you know, just 24/7 playing Reckoner. I'm not sure. I don't have the inside information, Sideshow. That's why we have you.
Well, true. I don't have the inside info on Crown's practice schedule either, but
right. Sorry to put you on the spot.
Yeah, absolutely. If I had to put myself in their shoes, though, if I think about the situation that they're in and the context of them coming into DreamHack Summer, what I would mostly be aiming on is to make sure that I have Reckoner at least to a competent level so that I can force the other team to ban it. So I would attempt to put up a good show tonight on Reckoner.
Are you there, Sideshow?
Hello? Did I die?
Hey, you cut out for a second there.
Oh.
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I would attempt to put up a good show, basically, from Crowns on Reckoner in order to try and force their opponents to ban it at DreamHack Summer, and then they can focus on the best maps for them, because it is a bit of a wildcard map. I don't think it'll take much for teams to start banning it at DreamHack Summer because they haven't had much practice on it. So if they can come out the gates looking at least reasonably competent, then I think they can pressure their opponents into banning it most of the time, and they can have the advantage in veto situations.
That's a good point. I mean, there's something to be said for, here during the regular season, the fixtures are determined and you have your map set and whatever, but when you're at LAN, in a LAN situation, the map ban thing is kind of a big deal. We are back in the server here, and I believe you're in too, Sideshow?
I am, yes.
90 seconds, so we're getting ready to go live here. Certainly, I mean, you get the feeling that, I mean, if Tech can just kind of play like he's an old veteran of this map here, maybe take a quick first round, that could be good for Crown, but we'll have to wait and see how it plays out. I think it'll be certainly important, though, to kind of take advantage and sort of get some momentum on their side right off the bat here. I mean, if Crowns drops a round and drops a second round, that could be trouble, Sideshow.
Something you see from Perilous on this map fairly often is that they like to take the aggressive right-hand side rollout, and they'll go up onto the enemy's crates with both of their soldiers and try and establish position really early and try and take the aggressive fight to them. It's a really good map, mid strategy for them, rather, and they are able to get it to work most of the time. The issue is that has been when they've been running either Silentes or even myself instead of Tech. I haven't seen them play alongside Tech. I imagine that he'll probably be able to make it work, though, because it's fairly simple. You just try and shoot things with your rockets, and he's pretty good at that, really.
So, guys, you heard it here first on TFTV. Sideshow says he's better than Tech. That's what I heard from that. That was the exact
I don't
quote.
want to toot my own horn, but that's pretty much the case.
Quote, write it down. It'll be on drama.tf tomorrow. Well, who are we looking at on this first middle, then? You want to watch your mates?
Yeah, I think I want to take a look at Ali. He has a pretty fast rollout on this mid. As you can see, he's already in Toxic, and Smir's rolling out through Cargo. Ali's he's actually got a decent view onto Smir, and Smir's been kind of looked out a little bit by Mike, who's taking position on the left-hand side. And Ali's coming up now. He's leading the charge with the rest of his team. You can see that both of the teams have kind of switched position, taking the side of the opposite team. But Ali hits a big pipe onto Tiger as well, and Buttnose goes down. Oh, here comes the collapse as well from Tech. Jumps in along with Mike. And that's a full team wipe, apart from Atomic, who is going to attempt to make a play from Toxic.
Yeah, maybe. Well, I was watching Tech because, we talked so much about him filling in, not knowing the map, and he looks just right at home here. He just played it very slow, very patient as finally the staggered wipe is completed. Tech looking okay, and hopefully he can keep it up for his team here. As the cap comes on, we'll be looking at last here. Beaver up on Engineer, going to try to get a gun up quick as he can here, Sideshow.
Yeah, the gun is so important when you're defending Reckoner last here, and it looks like they're already in as well. The Uber has come in, and Tech trying to get some damage onto Smear, who's in the left-hand side, and the gun goes down immediately from Ali there. And they have just so many kills. They've just wiped everybody.
Disgusting. In comes Smear to try to make something happen. Really quick first round for Perilous there, and I mean, I don't know, that's maybe as close to a textbook round of TF2 as you can get, Sideshow.
Yeah, pretty interesting that they focused the frags at the end push there as well. Normally on Reckoner, you really have to play the point early on and try and bring the whole fight around the point, because otherwise the defending team can just escape back into spawn and keep just throwing a single body on just to delay you, and the spawn advantage will occasionally work out in their favor. But we're on to our second mid, and as you said, lightning fast round.
Yeah, I'm looking at Mike here, who's going to try to take this left side real quick. And out of the gates here, Crown's real aggressive. They do not want to drop a second mid in a row here. Mike has to back off. A lot of scout action going on down below, although Smear has to kind of back out here. Atomic and Beaver and both scouts down, and so the cleanup crew dead, and that kind of leaving the door open here for Perilous. Coming all the way forward, just kind of closing out, fighting its second here. They will get this mid cap. Nobody really of significance went down, and so both teams will be able to fight this out. We'll have two Ubers here.
We will indeed. Two Ubers being exchanged on the second point, but Perilous now just starting to make an entry, and Tiger goes down. Neither of the Ubers have been popped off yet, but we've got a 6v5 in favor of the blue team here. Tech and Aspel fall though, and Mike has been just picked off on the side, so as soon as the Ubers actually got popped there, it was looking awful for Perilous.
Yeah, Koss having to get out. It's just him and Ali left, and Onkaya now trying to rally the troops here. Going to come back and try to take this middle. The Ubers are still going to be equal because nobody went down. Perilous very smartly just kind of getting out. They're not going to fight this mid whatsoever. Going to regroup, and I don't know, just hoping to get better Ubers than that. Koss has got to, well, I'm not putting it on Koss, but certainly Perilous want to pull this off. Lots of pressure here on this choke. In right off the bat is Buttnose here, murking from this match, as we mentioned. He's going to kind of hide down below here. This fight happening now at second. Down goes Tech and Thalash, although they did get Smear the demo. Ali here down below trying to fight it out with 2 scouts. I don't know, these scouts kind of making it happen here. Oh, Buttnose, though. Seen a lot of fighting on this second point. Sideshow, are you there?
I am indeed. I'm just seeing Koss juke around on 17 health, but nobody was able to quite finish him off, so that's going to mean that both of the Ubers are in this situation, but he's completely alone now. No, I have no idea what's going on here with Perilous. They're just getting picked off.
Kind of strange. I don't know if it's a comms breakdown or what's going on. I mean, Onkaya's got his. I don't think we're going to see a fast push in here just yet, but they might have had a window there. Koss was at 71, running around like... I don't know what it's going to build here now with Thalash, but Crowns are going to have a second chance to come on in this second here. I don't know if they're going to send Smear in first, sending sticky damage here and just going straight for Koss, hoping for maybe a kind of a cheeky little bit of damage onto him. They're going to back out a little bit, though. Just kind of playing it slow here, Sideshow.
Yeah, they really missed their opportunity when Koss wasn't killed in the previous fights, and now with equal Ubers, they've got to try and create an opening for themselves. It looks like Perilous are actually taking this one super aggressively. They've come up the slope with that single pick onto Atomic, and they've managed to find an easy entry into mid. Smear's taken so much damage and actually gets peppered down by fairly long-range shots from Aston Thalash, and they are just cleaning house. The force, though.
Yeah, that was a good force. Buttnose was getting good damage, but got just wiped and melted, and now moving all the way into second. Here's Tech just looking completely at home. Going to try to block off this door here for some of the respawners that are trying to come out or challenge. But, yeah, Perilous, I mean, just putting together some really good aggressive pushes here, though, now. Oh, just melting his Atomic, trying to come in. They didn't maybe know that Tech was standing there on that roof. He's got to back up a bit. The blue players now having to come back and rejoin with Koss a little bit. But it looks like Perilous putting together some really good aggressive pushes when they need to here.
Yeah, they are. They're able just to take the room on mid very easily. There was nobody on Crowns watching that lower entrance. That should really be spotted at least by one scout. With Atomic down, Bevan really had to rotate and watch that lower place, because there's nobody else on the team who can afford to just watch the lower entrance. But now both of these teams going to be holding mid. They know that they have this uber advantage, though, because they managed to force Onkaya way later than Koss had to pop. So going forwards here with both of their soldiers, Mike and Tech going to lead it from the low ground. They're just trying to see if they can walk it in without Koss having to pop his uber charge. They'll be trying to get second for free, and they've done an excellent job so far.
But now they left Tiger here up on this. Okay, they're going to try to back him up a little bit. Tiger was trying to sort of stand up on that side ledge and sort of spam out a little bit, but Perilous take the point here now. Going to send everyone in through, and I don't know, the last hold that we saw on last point, they are going to get the heavy up. It's Beavern on heavy. But I didn't see a great last hold last time, Sideshow. They tried to get a gun up. It didn't really work. Now they've got the walking gun. Let's see. Here comes the jump in. It's Mike just coming right in and spots out the heavy real easy. Goes down. But they did force the Uber, which is huge, Sideshow.
Yeah, that's all they were going for there. That sets them up perfectly in about 5 seconds as soon as they get their spawns. So the question is, are Crown's going to send... Crown's going to send in a counter-sack, and they have to send in both Atomic and Tiger, but they both get cleaned up. And that just paves the entrance as well. That's exactly what Perilous needed. I mean, what more could they ask for? They have an Uber advantage, and now you've given them a 6v4.
Yeah, absolutely, and I mean, the scouts are going to come out and try to make a difference here. Down goes Beavern, though, just trying to meet them at the door. Buttnose is jumping around. He's without heals. He's going to get melted as well, and just like in the first round, only Smear left. All of Perilous just going to stand here on the point. Last second jump in. Not enough. And, yeah, just like that, we're looking at 2-0 Sideshow. Very convincingly, I might add.
Yeah, there was a moment there where Crowns looked like they may have got the better end of an engagement, where they had a fight on Perilous' second, but apart from that, it has just been Perilous all the way, and the Crowns need to change something up on the mid-fights because they've been dominant in favor of Perilous so far. They really haven't had any room to breathe. So I'm looking at Ali once again as he tries to lock out players on the opposing side, but it looks like Crowns are going to take the blue crate here and see if they can get an early pick onto Mike, but Mike just hits rocket after rocket, and Bevan goes down straight away.
Oh, wow. Smear trying to pressure Mike a little bit, but can't get the better of him. Working on this side and gets taken down by the scout there. Koss going to just kind of stand up here and doing a real job. Something to be said for Koss and the healing on these mids. Good focus fire, I should add, as well for Perilous. Ollie flying around doing his thing, trying to find some damage, and Tech coming in there. Everyone's going for Ankaya. They just really want that medic Sideshow. This cow's medic.
Yeah, the Cow's medic has managed to escape, however, and Atomic looked like he wanted to come back in. Surely going to get picked up there by Thalash. He does in the end, but as you say, both medics were able to escape there, so Koss and Onkaya both stay alive, and they do have an Uber to defend second. Crown's playing this one quite passively. I don't think that was the best decision for them. Koss was still fairly far away, and they still had some players messing around on mid, so Crown certainly could have taken an aggressive Uber trade there, tried to regain control of second, but instead they've been pushed, pigeonholed back into last.
Yeah, and I'm looking now already. We've got the off-classing up. I mean, I love calling them cows. I'm going to do that. I love them, but it's funny to call them cows. They've got working on the gun up. They've got the heavy. They've got kind of the full or partial Highlander defense at last, depending how you want to look at it. But Perilous, I don't know. They don't want to push. They were standing around a long time. We do have the Mike sniper on the sniper cam here. He's going to see if he can get that med pick. Okay, he spots a heavy. Nothing doing. But Perilous, they kind of have time here. I don't think they're going to face a whole lot of resistance from cows who are just trying to figure out the last hold. Oh, they do get Mike, though.
Yeah, the lobby area in Reckoner is actually a very difficult place to hold if you're the aggressive team and you're looking to push last. It feels quite unsafe when you're in there. There's a lot of entrances that you really don't have great vision over. The defending team have the height advantage if they prod from either side, so it can be a little difficult to try and establish your holding lobby and snipe from there, but Mike attempted it, did get taken down, and now all they've done really there is switch up who is sniping. So instead of having a Mike with the sniper rifle, they now have Thalash. Thalash is probably better than Mike on sniper. I know that Mike has excellent hit scan aim and is able to get that kind of stuff very easily, but
yeah,
Thalash really
not
renowned
really,
for it.
Absolutely, not thought of as much. Well, here's Mike back on Soldier. He comes in, spots out the sentry gun, which was actually moved, and again, I mean, Perilous just sort of trying to plan this. Looks like, I mean, Tiger seems like he's dying to sack in on something. Here he is, he's at the door, manages to get away, but he was kind of standing in that lobby for a long time before Perilous flushed him out. Wondering if he's thinking sack or what. Here's Buttnose now, going to try to work on Mike a little bit. And both teams, I mean, just kind of doing this war of attrition here until someone gets that big pick, Sideshow.
Yeah, that's the deal. Definitely.
Here's Thalash, left side.
I think for Perilous, they could attempt a push on the right hand side. Well, now with Mike down, they can't attempt anything like that. And they may actually just get pincered as well. Tiger in trades with Thalash. Not the best. He could have aimed to try and get that frag without dying, but that has given them a single pick advantage. And Smear's going to attempt a prod with this Uber charge from the look of it.
Yeah, just standing right there on that left side, but they seem hesitant, this Crown's team. They're gonna... Oh my god!
Buttnose in with the gigantic bomb.
A huge pick onto Koss, and it's got to be now. No more waiting around for clowns. Oh my lord, this is the Crown's nickname game. Down goes Smear, unfortunately, though, and so for Clowns, that's going to be the end of that push, as they've got to kind of back up here. It's hard to hold. In is Thalash. In on the medic and gets Ankaya! And that's another huge, I mean, trading meds here back and forth. Unbelievable. And what's this going to be? I mean, is this going to end as just a reset here, Sideshow?
This one is incredibly sloppy at the moment. Crowns look like they want to fight on second, but Perilous, I think, are just going to give it to them. Even though they have the heal advantage, they need the health before they can repush this one. No, they're actually coming back in, and Crowns have decided to give it up. They didn't get enough cap time halfway through, so they just have to give it up completely. And now Koss has about it's only a 15% advantage, actually. If they furiously build, they could get it to about 20, but on this map, on a last that's so large, it's very difficult to make a 20% advantage work. We'll see. Yeah. They might favor themselves. They might just go for a full disrespect push and just think, we're better than these guys. We can make a 20% advantage work. But I think if you saw a really close game, or if they're giving Crowns a lot of respect, they'll probably just leave it. But they've actually managed to make it a 40% advantage.
Look at
they're
this.
Building really hard, and Ankaya's not at all.
Sorry, Buttnose has creeped in underneath. Buttnose is on a little vacation and adventure. I don't think they know he's there. He's in behind, and I don't know. He's better make this work here, because meanwhile we've got the push coming in on this right side. It's look at this. I mean, I don't know. Has anyone spotted Buttnose? He's finally spotted. Mike's going to go back and deal with him, so let's forget about that. The Uber's been popped meanwhile. Getting the pick. A really nice prank there onto the heavy. And look at this. Beavering down as well. Ankaya gets into spawn. Somehow gets away.
What? And they managed to cap it anyway. That's unbelievable.
Oh
Onkaya was 92% and managed to just wiggle his way back into spawn and switch on 92% on about 1 HP. And they weren't able to block that one. That's what happens when you focus the point on Reckoner. It's really powerful play.
Well, I don't know. That's maybe what happens when you send Buttnose behind and he doesn't really do too much either.
I agree.
mean, that was basically a 6v5, eventually a 5v5, but here we are again now. Buttnose maybe wanting to atone for that. He's jumping right on in. He's coming right in on Ollie. Doesn't get... Oh, wow, they got Thalash, though. Big damage on Ollie. Here's the follow-up jump in from Buttnose. And, oh, my lord. I mean, maybe that was the wake-up call, Sideshow.
Yeah, absolutely. That was a great mid-fight from Crowns. They just took the fight to them. They decided to go hyper-aggressive. It worked out perfectly. They stuffed them into a tiny little choke point, and then they were just able to rain damage down onto them. The counter-aggression as well, not able to pick up on Kaya, so now they have a full Uber to be able to push last with. They do only have a small Uber advantage because Kos did survive, although he was disconnected for a while. So if they push super quickly, they'll have about 40% add, but that will be slowly ticking away.
Well, they're going to see a Thalash sniper here at last, holding, that's the only off-class here. He's going to hopefully get a pick here. A real early pop, though. Here comes the Uber in from Onkaya. They're going to sort of focus this left side door. Going to try to get someone on this point and hopefully kind of seal these doors closed. But here's the counter Uber in by Kos. Real nice job here by the soldiers and by Ollie, just really blocking that last point, and out go Crowns, you know, getting confirmation that yes, this is Perilous and they know how to hold a last point. I can't believe I called them clowns. I mean, who would have thought that I would have started, you know, making jokes about a Euro team? Terrible. It's a terrible thing.
You can see on that last push, though. You can see on the last push that with Bevan just stepping on the point and waiting for Kos to rotate through spawn with Ali and the Uber charge, he was almost able just to cap it off before they were able to get there. The spawn is so long and it takes you a long time to rotate from one door to another that just by playing the point you can get so much cap time and almost win the fight single-handedly. So I would love to see more teams favoring the cap time on this last. I think that's the real key to winning Reckoner. Yeah,
Thalash still looking for a pick here. Moves right up. Wondering if he's gonna, he's gonna try to get an angle here on this left side. Smear just, the Smear was maybe asleep there, admiring a trap, and goes down, and that's gonna trigger very much Crowns here getting out of this point. The Ubers are equal, though. Both meds have it right now. They lose Beaver, though, and Crowns is bleeding players. This is a bad situation, and having to use Uber here is on Kaya. They're gonna stand here and think about what to do, but they've got to get outside, show. Real sloppy.
Yeah, and this is giving Kos a full Uber advantage. There's somebody lurking around behind. That's Atomic. It does get picked up, but Tech on the other side has just massacred Crowns. He took that Uber charge in and dealt a really raw hand to the Crowns players, who have lost their medic once again on a super long spawn.
Yeah, real rough there. I don't know, maybe a momentary lapse in brain function as we have the spawn camp coming down from Tech. I mean, I don't know if this is a Highlander thing that he's brought over or what, but I don't know. I haven't seen a lot of the spawn camping happen, but Tech's still in the mix here. Look at this. Tech just doing it.
He's really far forward. And, yeah, the forward spawn is pretty close, actually, on this map. So if you get a decent stack, if you get a decent fight on second...
Sniper play, maybe?
Yeah, even given how slow the midpoint camps, you can often get a spawn camp on the forward spawn. But now, 3-0 up, half of the map already gone. And this is Perilous trying to make it 4-0.
Thalash on this left side, looking for another headshot. He got, oh, there it is. That's Buttnose. Is that going to be enough to trigger this push here? Here come, looks like the team going to think left here a little bit. They spot out. They do know that they've got the engineer in there to deal with. They're going to focus down to heavy first off. They've got to get the gun as well, though. It's around the corner here. Looking for, they do get it. It's only Atomic and Smear left, but nobody on this point for Perilous. They're just kind of waiting, killing everything. Sideshow.
This could get risky, though, because Buttnose has just about spawned. He's on the point with Buttnose. Ast gets the full heal, though, and this should be enough to clean it up. And Ast, if Ast had died there, though, that really is a successful defense by Crowns, I think, because they kind of beefed that, focusing the heavy rather than the sentry initially. And the sentry managed to pick up Tech and then did a ton of damage to Ast as well. So they almost beefed that one by ignoring the sentry.
It is kind of like a tucked away little last point where you can hide a sentry in a little corner or in a little strange place, and it took him a second to catch it. Let's have a look here. It is 4-0. Who you watching, sir, on this middle point?
I want to see Crowns come out with a really aggressive mid fight again, because it worked perfectly for them. This time, though, both Tiger and Buttnose going to be jumping defensively onto their own crates. They're both taking about 100 damage. Tiger goes back to collect a health kit, but they've picked up a fight there and a frag onto Tech, and now they're getting the pinch because Buttnose is flanking from behind. So as soon as he comes in, as Perilous and Cos get forced out, he's going to mash them. In he comes. He does manage to pick him up. Is he going to be able to pick the frag on the mic as well? No, unfortunately not there. That was almost perfectly set up, but even so, picking Cos, that is the priority target there.
Now, we haven't even noticed this, but rolling out on this mid, Crowns were actually using Crits Krieg, and they've got full crits. And Cost going down, this is a perfect situation here for Crowns to hopefully pick something up. They're in real far. It's, again, Tiger leading the way. They're waiting here, I guess, for the perfect moment for this crits. I don't know if it's going to be the last point or if they're going to have it forced here. Here's Ali coming right in on the face of the medic. Mike was in down below, but he gets cleaned up. Oh, a lot of pressure here, and they come in and they get on Caius, and no crits at all. So much for that.
A great play by Mike and Tech. Mike starting with the initial aggression, just baiting for the Tech play. Tech goes in, gets the crits out of them, and now they have the sentry and a heavy on last, so they should still be able to defend. This is one's going to be really tight, though.
Oh, wow.
Oh my god, great play from the scouts of Crowns just to try and do their best to clean this up, but it's all down to Buttnose, and he's not going to be able to overcome Mike with heals, despite taking Mike down to single-digit health there.
Yikes. And they are still on the crits, which is an interesting play, something to keep an eye on, because Cost now is sitting on 85% Uber, and so really now it's incumbent on the Crowns crew to see if they can force something or even take down, maybe get a drop on the Cost. Here's Tiger coming in, looking for some damage. He goes down. I don't know. I feel like Crowns need to sort of regroup here, take a breath, and organize. Seems like they're bleeding players, Sideshow.
Not sure what that play was whatsoever. I think they were just trying to get the Uber out of Cost so that they could re-crits with Onkaya, but when you're at that situation, you need the crits up in order to make anything happen. And now they're just getting pushed back further and further. Eventually, they're going to be on last and have to use their crits there, and that's a horrible situation to be in.
Not the classic play, using crits defensively at last against an Uber.
No.
We'll see here. I don't know if there's potential for some kind of cheeky sticky trap or some kind of kill here during these choky doors. Oh, wow! And speaking of sticky
You're a
traps,
prophet!
wow, and now they've got this full crits now. Are they going to get forced? They're not. Wow, lots of pressure in on Onkaya. Buttnose staying alive with 1 HP. That's an odd shot in my book, Sideshow. And wow, forget what I said about clowns earlier and about cows. Great poise there by Crowns. Unbelievable. That's pretty wild.
Koss was so ballsy trying to take the Uber in through that tiny little door, though, and Smear just pounding damage into him, and it's so difficult to navigate your way through that tiny little area. But Perilous want to fight this one once again. They know that Onkaya's got the crits, though, and he's going to pop it out, takes down Ale right at the beginning. Ast falls as well. Surely Mike going to get picked up from this one, but Thalash is in behind, manages to take down Onkaya, so now they are going to have that Uber charge advantage. No, they're not. Down goes Koss as well to a super aggressive Smear, and Crown's just rolling this one forward, doing a great job of it, punishing Perilous for the overextension.
Pretty wild. A lot of frags everywhere. I was looking at Smear doing a 1v1 versus Koss, which actually lasted longer than you might have thought, but eventually Smear getting the better. I mean, again, Crowns here just trying to pick up at least a round. You know, I think if they breathe and just kind of concentrate here, they do have to regroup. They've got some hurt players, but I think we've seen they've got it in them. They've switched off crits now because that didn't work. Down goes Tiger, unfortunately. But yeah, I mean, I think if with regular Uber here, I think they might have a chance if they can organize a good push, Sideshow.
Yeah, but I think that is the problem, organizing a good push. And you see with Tiger falling there is my problem with Crowns that I said in the pregame is that they just tend to bleed people when it's absolutely imperative that they don't. And although it didn't hurt them too much there, if they do it now, if someone goes in and dies now from Crowns, it's going to completely stumble this push. And they also have to deal with Thalash on Sniper, so they've got to be really careful not to drop somebody if they want to try and engage.
Well, they got to be checking every single corner for sticks as well after that huge sticky trap that we just saw. But here's Tiger. He's coming in. And again, I mean, hopefully this is not him feeding. We'll see. He's in on the right side a little bit. Onkaya just kind of sitting back. I don't know. Tiger in, just kind of poking. No off classes on the side of Crowns here. But we do have the Thalash Sniper to look at and watch. Real early Uber pop, though, by Onkaya coming in. Real safe. Real just trying to flush Perilous into this left door, but we saw that didn't really work last time, and they're backing out here, kind of aborting this push as the blue Uber came back out, waiting on the repush Sideshow. Possibly, or maybe not, they're back out in a second, no repush at all.
Yeah, I think what they're trying to do here is bait Perilous into pushing, and then they'll try and crush them on the counter.
Okay.
So Thalash is dead.
Yep.
I think Perilous are just going to call this one off, though. They're 4-0 in the lead, and there's only less than 8 minutes.
Yeah.
So Crowns have to be slamming rounds home again and again here in order to equalize or possibly take the map. So Crowns on the repush, they realize that the imperative is on them. Tech goes down, but big point from Ellie, takes down Smear and on Kaya, and that is devastating for Crowns.
Wow, Beaver almost eating a pipe there as well. Yeah, really nice picks. And, I mean, I've been seeing good focus fire out of Perilous. Oh, although down goes Ollie there. And now just leaving Cost to kind of scramble with his scouts. They do get the kill onto Beaver, and they're effectively shutting down this push. But no, great focus fire kind of all game, both on offense and defense I'm seeing from Perilous. They're going to recap this second here. And you said it, I mean, time is a factor here. It is looking pretty certain here for Perilous picking up this map at the very least. They have a big fatty Uber advantage as well, Sideshow.
Yeah, if Crowns want to get back into this one, they just have to turn a fight here. They have to try and force Cost and then wipe them on the repush. And Tiger's going to make that happen, or attempt to at least, and there goes the Uber from Cost. So now they have to set up for the repush, because if they don't start putting rounds on the board now, there's absolutely no hope of anything on this map. And people are going to laugh at the idea of banning Reckoner against Crowns at this rate.
Well, yeah, based on this, at the very least, I mean, I don't know, maybe right after this match they'll do 24 hours of scrims, I don't know. But Smear taking a lot of damage here on this middle point. Is just kind of sitting in this corner. All he knew he was there. Takes him down. So down goes the demo. They lost Atomic here as well, and again, just Crowns losing players. Down to Beaver taking a lot of heat here as well. Buttnose standing in the middle of the field, and we've got a 2-player Uber here. 2v5. How many 2v5s have you seen in favor of the side of the 2 here, Sideshow?
I can't really remember a time where I've seen a 2v5 Uber do particularly well, and that one certainly went along with the trend.
Terrible. Yeah. So chalk that up on the 2v5 table. Again, we're looking at just under 6 minutes left here as Perilous going to come out and try to cap this. A little bit of work being done here by Atomic, staying alive for now. But yeah, no, certainly, I mean, I'm looking for the organized pushes out of Crowns, and I'm just not seeing them.
No, there's been nothing like that from Crowns. There have been glimpses of organization, but apart from that, Crowns have really been on the back foot as well the entirety of the game, just constantly trying to defend from Uber advantages and stuff like that. And speaking of which, there's one coming in right now. Buttnose drops right immediately with a far further forward position than the rest of his team. They pick up Bevan, who was on heavy, and now they're going to try and focus the point. Here comes the attempted collapse from Crowns, but not going to be enough. Too little, too late, and that's 5-0. So not even a single round on the board there from Crowns, despite having a few one mid-fights. I want to say 2 one mid-fights, although maybe it was only that single mid-fight that came out well for Crowns. And they had a few fights that favored them, but overall, just the majority of the game vastly in favor of Perilous there.
And perhaps telling that one mid that you're referring to for Crowns was really kind of carried on the back of Buttnose, who's murking for this match. So make of that what you will. We're going to pull up the stats here in just a second and kind of analyze that, but I don't know. Not much analysis needed other than what we were kind of saying all match long as we have a look at the numbers there. Just really, Crowns struggling to work together as a team, I think you can sum it up.
Yeah, I want to highlight the amount of deaths on Tiger as well, because he wasn't having an effect on the match whatsoever. I mean, you can sugarcoat it as much as you like, but even though this isn't particularly a soldier map outside of the mid-fight, Tiger going 9 for 20 really hurts them. Just that amount of deaths is very difficult for Crowns to come back from that, especially when both of your scouts as well are going like 11 for 16, 17 for 17. Neither of them are playing a low death safe game with Onkaya, and Buttnose as well isn't putting up great stats given that he was supposed to be sticking with Onkaya. So they're really missing some core players who are just going to be the backbone of this team and keep it stable. And I thought at the beginning of the season when AMS decided to run shotgun and they were trying to keep things more tightly together with Perez, that they were going to try and have a stable core of the Crowns roster, but it all just seems to fly out of their minds as soon as a team fight happens, and people are just taking stuff all over the place and getting cleaned up one by one. Like I said as well, Ale farming. Yeah,
I mean, it's easy to look at the DPM. I sometimes like to do that during matches, but I'm looking at the KAD in this case. I think that kind of really tells the tale, and sorting by KAD, you see it there. I mean, just all of Crowns, we saw a lot of bleeding, we saw a lot of pushes that both yourself and I, Sideshow, were kind of saying, I don't know what that was. I don't know what they were thinking with that. I don't know if comms was maybe part of it or if it was a focus problem, but certainly I think the Crowns have got to sort of get it together and maybe concentrate and focus for this next map, because I'm not seeing it on Reckoner, at least not just then.
It could also be an issue with the changes that they've made to their roster. I mean, Crowns weren't performing that well, even when they were with Amson Perez. They'd been kind of ups and downs, taking around 3 points from each fixture in ETF2L, but against some teams they should really have been taking 6 against. But the fact that they were playing with Bevan, who I believe hasn't been practicing with them that much and is a bit of a downgrade on Perez anyway, in general, and the fact that Buttnose is playing here pocket for them, whereas he's a very good roamer actually, but doesn't really have that experience on pocket and wasn't particularly delivering despite some great plays on Roma earlier in the season. So that may have affected them perhaps when Amps comes back and they've practiced a little bit more, but there's not going to be really that much practice before DreamHack Summer. The guys are leaving in 2 days time or something, and the event is on Saturday, so Crowns have got to step up their game, and I think it comes down less to practice and more to structured improvement. So I mean that in the sense of going back over some games, analyzing what's actually going wrong in these team fights, picking out key situations where players like to overextend, and just trying to focus on specifics rather than just blindly practicing and hoping that will eventually lead to improvements.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you can play PCWs till the cows come home, huh? Cows tie-in. But I mean, you're absolutely right. I mean, I think that the teams that we see with success in, I mean, anywhere, Euro, NA, elsewhere, they're the ones that really sort of analyze those situations and kind of work on specific mistakes rather than just DMing for 10 hours a day. So we have moved on, and we are now getting ready to get started here on our second map, which is Gully Wash, and I mean, it's certainly. Oh, and let's have a look. We have our flashy, beautiful charts and graphs here. So
yeah, I nearly forgot about them for a moment. But so what you can see from this as well, which is super telling, is that Perilous are leading in net frags both on their last and on Crown's last. So that means that they were excelling at the defenses and the offenses. And even though it was kind of backwards and forwards on second point and mid, I mean, mid is actually skewed here because they won so many mid fights. But in the transition periods where the rounds were going a little bit longer and the fights were backwards and forwards, Crowns were actually doing okay. They were getting a reasonable job on second as well. But when they're trying to defend last and when they were pushing last, it was horrible. 0% conversion rate for them, obviously, because they had 0 rounds on the board. 83%. So I think that was only one failed last push there for Perilous. So there's a huge difference here in actual execution. So it's not so much the transition plays, like the flow backwards and forwards, but when they have a goal and they need to commit to it, they are not coming up with the goods.
Yeah, and building on it, because well, we see in the graphs, you know, there were some big picks that Crowns were able to pick up at either second points, but they couldn't kind of build on it. They'd come in and get a big pick on the medic or something like that, and then they'd bleed 2 or bleed 3. And so, yeah, I mean, I think that, you know, this... I mean, I guess you kind of said it. They've got to commit, and they've got to win these fights more often than not. I mean, that seems obvious when you say it in those words, but, yeah, the stats prove it. Thank you, Gentleman John.
They certainly do. They certainly do. And those are some interesting stats about the Ubers there for our viewers to feast their eyes upon. There's not that much to talk about in terms of... The only interesting one really is deaths post-Uber, which suggests that as soon as Crowns are exchanging their Uber charges, they're just getting destroyed straight afterwards. So I think when we move on to Gully Wash here, as there are 12 players on the server, when we move on to Gully Wash, Perilous, this is one of their classic maps. This should be one where they absolutely excel on, but there isn't kind of that wildcard factor for Crowns as well, so we might see a better performance from both teams here, which could keep it level, surprisingly enough. So well, we could see the exact same result, but for different reasons. We
could. I was going to say that as well. The Gully is a very different map from Reckoner in a lot of ways. I mean, it's a classic map. These people have played this thousands and thousands of hours, I'm sure, whereas Reckoner's a lot newer, but also Reckoner, there's a lot more sort of choky areas. Last is kind of strange versus this kind of classic last on Gully Wash, and so we'll see if it favors either side. How How about Preds here? Are we, I mean, obviously, we don't have to ask you for your Pred. I mean, have you ever predicted against Perilous? Is there some,
I have,
yes,
yeah.
You have, really?
Yeah, I predicted against them whenever they come up against Nameless, basically, because they have a history of not being able to deliver. However, that's without Mike or Tech on the roster, so that might provide the difference. We're also going to see how they perform at LAN as well. A lot of these players on Perilous are fairly inexperienced at LAN. Thalash has never attended a LAN. Ast has never attended a major LAN, although he may have been to a tiny one in Finland, I'm not sure. Ale has never attended a LAN. Koss has really never played on a top team at LAN either, so there's really only Mike and Tech with any kind of experience. So it could be super different when these guys attend DreamHack Summer. They might completely collapse. I hope they don't, but they might.
Yeah.
But
yeah, and I mean, it's good to kind of get that LAN experience under your belt as well, because, you know, I've heard that there's this big LAN happening at the end of August. And I think a lot of these players might be there, we're getting ready to go live. What were you had a point, Sideshow?
Yeah, my point on this map really was just we need to be taking a look at Mike on this map, because he is so good on Roma on Gully Wash. When he was playing at I-55 for Reason Gaming, he was one of the biggest reasons that Reason were performing on this map. The unintentional puns coming out here. It's so difficult when they have their name as a word that you frequently say.
It is terrible
as analysis. It's a really bad design, actually. I'm glad that they're playing under Perilous. There's very few times that you actually say the word Perilous without meaning to.
It's a perilous situation. I mean, maybe we'll start using it more just to irritate you.
Yeah, perhaps. But yeah, coming back to my point, I really think we need to take a look at Mike on these mid-fights particularly, because his awareness on Roma on Gully Wash, and Roma is such a powerhouse on the mid-fights on Gully Wash. How you play as Roma can define the entire mid-strat, more so than any other map, really, apart from perhaps Badlands. So I'm really going to be taking a look at how him and Tiger compare and how they are approaching these mids and how that translates to one mid fights, because Crowns have to deliver on these mids if they want any chance of winning.
So what are we saying number-wise, real quick, Preds?
I'm going to go with a 6-1 or 7-2 here in favor of Perilous.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of agree with you there. I don't think we're going to see another shutout, but we'll have to take a look. Why don't we look at Mike here, as you mentioned, on this first middle Sideshow? You want to take us through it?
Absolutely. We'll take a look at where Mike is coming from. Going to be getting up on this right-hand side fairly early. Takes a bit of a meat shot, actually, and gets propelled back over to his side. So now both of the teams just set up. Although Bunters is taking a lot of damage. Tech initiates, and Mike is going to bomb a little bit as well. Tiger trying to see what he can do. He will pick up the frag there onto Ali. And there's still Atomic lurking around below, which I don't think anyone has seen him. So he may be able to block this cap and get onto Thalash here. This would be huge if Atomic's able to block this cap. Thalash just has his back to him.
Oh, he's fighting it out here. Yeah, nobody saw. They even looked back and didn't see him, but he does get taken down finally. So rough luck there for Atomic, giving it a try. But both teams now do have Uber, and we're probably going to be looking at last point here, unless something crazy happens. Not seeing any off-class or anything like that. We should have some good old-fashioned TF2 at this last point. Now, are we going to see Perilous charging through the gates here, or is this going to slow right down, I wonder?
I think this is going to slow right down. Gully Wash is a difficult last point to push. Teams normally prefer to have some kind of... prefer to have some kind of pick, but yeah, Tech just feeling his luck here, going to be trading the Ubers, and they'll probably try and just repush straight off with this. So now that both of the Ubers are traded, they'll be getting buffs, seeing where they can repush from, see if there's an angle or an avenue given to them anywhere. Tiger peeking forward in Riverside might give them that angle, but instead both of the teams just traded the Ubers, decided that it wasn't looking great for them, and Perilous just going to be sat outside building this one up. So, not a great fan of that play, to be honest.
No.
They didn't even think about rotating over to Riverside and trying to repush from there, or even get a pick from a different entrance. They literally just traded the Ubers and sat outside, so...
I mean, they came right out. Look at Mike. Mike's just jumping around right now. What's going on here? Are they just challenging, daring Crowns to come out and push out a last? That's what it looks like to me.
Perilous do have...
Here they go.
Kind of something in their playbook where they're able to arrow build, but I think Mike and Tech really haven't had enough experience with that to be able to do it properly, and they've beefed this one again because they thought they had Uber advantage, but they were arrow building so terribly there.
Yeah, well, they lost the demo here. I mean, Crowns have got to make something happen here. I don't know if Crowns... Oh, but look at this. We got Tech here in Riverside. Both... Oh, wow. They're down go the soldiers in River. And so only Koss and Thalash left up. I don't know what Perilous are doing here. I mean, this can get out of hand real quickly, can't it, Sideshow, if you're kind of playing complacently and kind of giving a lot of room to the other team? I mean, this can snowball.
Yeah, it definitely can. I'd be concerned if I was Perilous, especially because they made a really bad decision there to commit with the Uber into last, even after they knew that the arrow building had gone terribly. So it's something that Koss occasionally likes to try, where they'll take this, take the Uber exchange and then have their Roma build with arrows, and it can work perfectly well because you can build up an Uber in 19 seconds if you do it with arrow building. So that's twice as fast as just by healing alone. But Mike didn't really understand what he was supposed to do, and now he's attempting the same thing here. We'll see if he gets the hang of it this time. This is something that you really have to practice, though, and this is the kind of stuff that Mike and Tech won't really be familiar with. They've got the Uber charge up there, and this arrow building actually has saved them from an Uber disadvantage, so this time worked fairly well, and they've managed to pick up Pierre's. They've got the better exchange of the Uber, get the pipe onto Onkaya as well, so that time worked perfectly.
Yeah, worth noting, Perez is back in. I don't know what's going on with the Beaver, and something to do with work, but here we go, the Chariot Uber, but here we go, it's getting reversed here. A lot of franks going down on Crown's players. Tech still in the mix, gets taken down there. We got Mike in elbow deep here, and and he does get Smear from a really strange angle there. Kind of leaving the door here for his compatriots to stand here on this second point, and they've got a huge advantage as well. They're at 50 already. Without even using arrows, so they'll be able to certainly get a push together here, hopefully. We do have the off-classers now. We've got Atomic out on Engineer.
They should be able to get this one. They have a 50% Uber advantage. Depends where they want to take it from. Looks like they're peeking over Riverside at the moment, although Ali may want to take it from Shutter with a scout, perhaps. We'll see in a moment, but they're going to have to focus down the sentry, which is being built on the back left.
Well, here we go. They're taking the scout in, just coming lower main and just trying to block off that right side spawn door. Perez kind of caught in there on Kaya. Everyone in spawn. Nobody on Perilous still getting on this last point. They're fighting it out. We've got Smeary down underneath who's going to kind of take up residence. Gets blasted here, and it's just the scout on last standing there. And real nice there by Ast finally deciding, standing on that last point. Works out. So first round going to Perilous.
It is. I was a little confused on that last push, actually, as to what the game plan was for Perilous, but they turned it around halfway through the last push. I think what they were intended to do was lead forward with a demo and a scout, focus down the sentry, and then pick off any aggressive players who had tried to flank. So both Buttnose and Tiger, as the Uber came in, tried to push themselves into any weak players at the flank, but they just cleaned them up and were able to slowly focus the frag. So great push from Perilous.
Well, here's Tech now. Tech came up on this right side. No double jump, nothing crazy. Just kind of standing here, waiting for... Oh, here come up Banana. We have Crowns coming up this right side, or thinking about it. Smear kind of trying to get some damage out, but they're spotted out. And now Crowns in a bad spot. And Ankaya's going to... I don't know. This could be bad. Although they do get the pick now onto Ollie. Kind of really lucky there, but it's really easy to get trapped kind of in that elbow area. And a lot of fighting now. It was coming in deep was Buttnose all the way into second, all the way into lobby.
Ast has taken a ton of damage here, though, and Koss pressured out of the situation. He's only on 80%, so they're going to have to hold last here. Mike really wanted to take that one aggressive. I think he really wanted to defend second, but they lost so many players late on, including Tech, that it's going to be really difficult to defend second with the Uber there. So I think they made the correct call by just dropping back to last. Thalash sniping from Riverside while Ast builds a sentry on the right-hand side, and they're just going to attempt to hold on to this one.
Atomic is on Sniper and is going to see if he can make something work. He's coming through, just kind of through main here with the rest of his team. Our Perilous going to try to maybe come down the throat. Oh, look at this. Thalash way up, taking one shot, but misses there. Now, they do have the gun on last, but I don't know. Perilous looked like they're chomping at the bit to come out and maybe challenge aggressively here. They got Smear, though. That was Thalash with the headshot. Things not going the way of Crowns here, Sideshow, at all.
No, and this is going to prompt the push straight out here from Perilous. They have their own sniper, they have to dodge Atomic, and Koss, I don't know whether he's just going to attempt to wander past. Yeah, Ali going forwards, pressures out Atomic. Really nice play from both of them, and they drop Buttnose. Terrible play by Onkaya there to drop his pocket in that situation, and even to use the Uber charge, he should have just dropped Buttnose and held it onto his Uber, but instead made the worst of possible decisions, the worst of all worlds.
The worst. In a very perilous situation, making the incorrect choice, and now just kind of rolling right through, looking at Mike here, who he's going to control himself here. Wondering if Mike was just going to blast right down the throat of Crowns. They're all taking up residence now, up on bats, and they're going to wait now for Perilous to come on in. We're going to have a fight here at second point. Smear down low, trying to control this. Big jump up high by Mike, and it's going to try to shut off this bats area. We've got Tiger coming in to challenge in. Nice rocket onto Koss, who surfs away. Oh, but the follow-up pick by Buttnose, who does get the med, and he's going to die for his sins here, but still running around is Onkaya, who has 60% now. This could be fine, but those scouts on Perilous doing a good job. They lose fast, though.
Great sync to
Good
play.
counter, though. Yeah.
Great sync to play by Buttnose and Tiger. So Tiger goes in and just as a distraction, but actually does a pretty decent bomb anyway, and puts a bit of damage onto Kos. And Kos surfs down onto the health kit. Really predictable position. Buttnose comes in unseen from the flank and finishes him off. So fantastic stuff from Crowns there. If they can pull that kind of stuff out regularly, they'd be doing much better in this fixture. But as it is, they're still 1-0 down with almost 10 minutes gone.
Oh!
But look at that one!
Oh my God! Well, that was 2 picks. I'm seeing a sniper rifle pick there as well, but there was a mid-air explosion, and pretty impressive there. And with 50% advantage now on Kaya, I don't know, trying to rally the troops, I guess. Well, that was all right.
They have the Uber charge, but Smira's still only just about to spawn, and they're going to lose control of mid. And by the time they actually get in and use this Uber, Kos is probably going to already have it. But Buttnose just going to be peeking it out, going to be able to call to his team that they're holding passive in big door, but still don't want to get in. Oh, they're going drop down. This is a really nice decision from them.
Drop down. Here's Buttnose, and he gets blasted away right away. They're going to make something happen with this Uber here on Kaya getting, oh wow, really just kind of backing up here and giving space to the Perilous Uber, not going the way of Crowns here. And oh my God, they lose Tiger as well, and they've got to get out. They're still trying to hold here. I don't know, they're holding around this middle. Here comes Mike to kind of clean this up. He gets Buttnose, and I don't know if I agree with that decision to get back in here. On Kaya, though, still with his scouts. But I don't know if they're going to get this mid-cap. I don't know, I guess Perilous not in a situation to come back in on it. What do you think,
yeah, despite
Sideshow?
the fact that they managed to get 2 picks from Crowns in the Uber charge, they had lost Ale really early on, and the flank from Crowns was able to get position and start the cap time on mid as well. So unless Perilous committed really hard to that one, they weren't going to be able to have an even fight. So instead they just took it safe, decided to back Kos out of the situation and rotate back to defending second. They're still 1-0 up. They're still, you know, there's 20 minutes left, and they feel fairly content to the point where they don't want to commit to these situations if there's a percentage chance of it going wrong for them. They're playing it a little more safely now, giving Crowns this respect.
Yeah, absolutely. I kind of see that. Perilous kind of, I guess, waiting for Crowns to come, waiting for the pushes and waiting to punish. No action on flank here, just a wide open big door as Perilous are going to try to see, and look at this, they're giving Thalash so much room. Thalash, I think, has been spotted out now on Sniper. We've got some action maybe going down back over here at Choke. Thalash, though, still up on Sniper. Crowns wanting to come through, both teams holding on to Uber here. A lot of spam going down in his Buttnose, first thing. Hey, Uber now, I don't know, on Kaya trying to find Buttnose. This doesn't look good, Sideshow, at all. This is gross.
Yeah, this is just both of the Ubers being traded. Atomic trying to make a play in the back lines at the same time as the Ubers traded, but he ends up backing out as well, and we're just going to see a 6v6 situation once again here.
Oh,
the
but look at
only
Thalash!
difference is Thalash, yeah.
I mean, they're giving him so much room, he's just walking right in. And, I mean, still kind of with the upper hand here, at least positionally, is Perilous. I mean, it's still up to Crowns here to walk through this choke or walk through big door, and I think Perilous just seem really in control and in the driver's seat right now.
Well, they're stepping back into the driver's seat, Crowns, because they want to take the dry push in through big door, but as soon as a bit of spam came in there and did damage to Buttnose and Tiger, they've called it off. But they have got Atomic in behind, who will now be dueling Mike, but you don't really want to be taking Mike in a 1v1.
Oh,
although he has got a better end than him.
Oh, he got some finally. Now here comes his partner Tech in to clean this up, and now Atomic officially a problem.
Yeah, definitely a problem, because Tech hasn't been able to clear him up. That means the pocket is nowhere near, and the Ubers have been able to be traded without a pocket even close. So, Buttnose again going to be able to get behind, does pick up the frag onto Tech, but thankfully Thalash was able to pick up a frag onto Tiger there, so it stabilized the position. Atomic, though, still behind, and still going to be harassing them. But the issue is that they don't really have enough players on the rest of the team from Crowns to capitalize on that, so Atomic just has to stay behind and stay alive until Crowns are in a position to sandwich.
You're leaving your team 6v5, and yeah, it's not ideal here. And they do know he's still there. Tech is trying to work on it. You've got to think, there we go, finally, my lord. Finally able to pick out just one scout.
Yeah, and this could signal the push here from Perilous. If they try and do a dry push here from big door, they'll get a fairly decent avenue for Thalash to snipe and possibly turn one pick into two as well. That looks like what they're trying to do. They're just peeking a few heals over towards big door. They're not actually going for the dry push, but instead just seeing if Thalash can get a slightly wider angle than usual. And he does manage to get that fully charged body shot onto Piers.
Well, is that going to be enough? I mean, Piers down. Both teams are about to get Uber here. I don't know if this is going to be, a nice arrow there onto Thalash, just holding down that big door. I don't know. Perez not the pick they were necessarily looking for. He's going to rotate around here. Going to eat a rocket, but again, I mean, there's been no answer for this sniper. They do have Perez now back up on Sniper himself, but I don't know. Can they deal with Thalash? I haven't seen a lot of that.
Yeah, we've seen Thalash get the better end of most of these sniper duels, but he hasn't really delivered anything here while we've had him up for this sniper stalemate, so we'll see. Perhaps the fact that Perez is going to be directly engaging him in the 1v1s rather than hiding from the sightlines will give Thalash another pick, and then maybe they'll try and push with the 6v5 situation. But again, just to reiterate, Perilous are perfectly happy here, because as the round timer ticks down to just under 5 minutes, they are... they're still 1-0 up.
Yeah, I mean, they certainly seem comfortable, and I don't know, I'm just surprised. They know that Thalash is there the whole time, and he's just standing right in this choke now. Buttnose came from drop down, it looked like, and surprised him. He's in deep now. He's going to get taken down shortly here. Surely they're going to take down Buttnose. Surely someone will take down Buttnose. Somebody. Nobody taking down Buttnose, and I don't know, this has got to be it for Crowns here. They've got to make something work here. Just everybody melting.
No idea what the game plan was. That was a car crash of a push from Perilous. The heals were over a big door and all of their players went in choke, but now they've got enough people up.
Now. I mean, he was at like 5 or 10 HP, and he's up on bats by himself here. Now, I don't know if I agree with this, but I don't know. He's still alive. Finally, Perilous pick him up. The second point went down, and I don't know. Do Crowns even know what their game plan is here? Seems like they're wanting to back out. They've lost now Buttnose and Atomic. They feel a little lost to me, Sideshow.
I think both of the teams in the last 2 minutes have looked completely lost. They haven't really had a proper cohesive push from anybody. That Uber exchange on second was very sloppy, and again, Crown's in a good position, and then Buttnose dies, so they just kind of, they get themselves in a decent position, and then they throw a player away that they just cannot afford. So now we see ourselves in the exact same position that we were for the last 5 minutes. So once again, Crown's going to be holding mid, Cos and the rest of Perilous.
So Thalash is actually on scout now, obviously not.
And they have a slight Uber ad.
Yeah. Maybe Thalash wasn't as impressed with his own performance, and he felt like he was, you know, letting down all the viewers by not getting those huge explosive headshots. On the other side, though, I mean, there's no sniper, period. We're back to 6v6 here. And a little bit of action looks like, I mean, Perilous have been looking at that big door, thinking about coming out around the corner here, although in comes Tiger just feeding. Both teams do have Uber, Sideshow.
Thalash looks like he wants to go for this one. Thalash is in the choke already, either calling for a buff to go for a sack or calling for the Uber, and it looks like with Cos committed to this one, they want to take an Uber trade, or at least try and slowly walk it in through the choke so they can take a slightly better Uber. And in they come. Tech and Thalash is going to be leading this one forwards. Thalash leading it rather than Ast, which is interesting, with Ast playing over on the flank, but they've managed to trade the Ubers, but not much else. They could try rotating everybody super quickly and go for a repush through big door. There's nobody from Crowns around there, but it's not like Perilous have that intel at the moment. So instead, you know, just exactly the same. Ubers traded. Neither team want to capitalize off the fact that the Ubers are out of the equation. And it's Crowns to make a move, but at the same time, Perilous looked like they wanted to initiate that one, so I'm surprised that they didn't go for some kind of repush.
Well, if they see an opening, I think Perilous will certainly take it, although Thalash now reporting that we have a push coming around big door, Buttnose coming in with his med, and they actually sent a scout in behind as well. I don't know, that's... there's one scout just lurking around, back behind a red scout. Meanwhile, I mean, Perilous don't seem to care. They're... I don't know. I feel like I'm watching an instant replay here, Sideshow, just over and over again.
Yeah,
Crowns
it's very
send
strange.
a scout behind, and just kind of hope something works out. Nothing really happens.
Well, it did work out now. They've got a pick, and Aston Tech are both following him, so there couldn't be a better situation for Crowns to commit to a push.
But Mike is way behind, too. Look at Mike. He's all the way behind, and he just got the pack from the red side. So, I mean, both teams are just kind of sending in these recon agents in behind, and I don't know. This is very odd. Mike
the after Uber fight could be...
You're cutting outside show, but yeah, Mike comes in. Oh my god, talking of perfect timing, he comes right on in on the retreating Crowns team, and I don't know, that's great teamwork there in my books. Buttnose is going to get caught out here in the choke area, and real unfortunate there. I had no idea what Mike was doing until he walked in at the perfect moment and just kind of wiped up the Crowns team. Are you with us, Sideshow?
I am. I hope I am at the very least. I think
that's the Sideshow I know.
I think it could be my internet doing a little higgity biggity, but I'm not sure quite what's going on. It's a crits v crits situation here, though. Getawhale, and look at the stick trap. They haven't seen it. Oh no, it's
crits v Uber. But no, certainly they're trying to make it happen with crits here. It's We're having a big fight here, though, although Kaya's staying out of it, hoping to get that crits, but it's not our favorite area here, this one choke area, where, again, the game has really kind of slowed down. For now. Although, I don't know, Crowns maybe want to come through here. I mean, they're not going to know that this is crits unless they spot those little particles here, Sideshow. This could be a surprise crits, we'll see. Although, Onkaya down to about half. And really running in. I mean, I have not seen anything to prove to me that Crowns were able to push through onto mid yet.
And why are they dropping people right before they have to push with the crits?
Oh, they're getting pinched hard here. In comes Mike, and this is real bad here. They got to hope to keep Onkaya up, but they're up against Uber now, Sideshow. This is a disaster.
Yeah, this is catastrophic here for Crowns. They've popped the Uber charge at the same time as the crits goes. We know how this one ends up. Just Mike coming in and wiping them as well from the other side. They should be able to push this one all the way to last. Onkaya falls, only 2 players left alive. Smira has spawned, but they're still facing all 6 players here from Perilous, so this should be an easy last push. And
disgusting.
That all went to pot as soon as they tried to do that dry push into mid. They've got the Uber v crit. They've got the crits v Uber situation, right? So they have a 25% advantage. They've got just under 10 seconds in which to use that crits Krieg, and they have Kos vulnerable there without an Uber to reply. But instead, they try for a dry push, which leads to them going 6v5. It's enough time for Kos to get the Uber. It was a terrible, terrible decision making from Crowns.
A dog's breakfast. There's about 11 minutes left here. It is 2-0 now for Perilous. Mike is playing down below. He jumps up for a split second here. He's down underneath, and he spots only P-Res down low there. Meanwhile, up above, I don't know, Perilous just looking for red players. Nobody at all.
There's only 2 left.
Yeah, I mean, it's only Atomic and Buttnose left, and say what you will about how great they are, and they are, but we're looking at last point, I think, here, Sideshow, by a lot. Yeah, also cleaned up, by the way, on Kaya there, who's going to have to try to rebuild here, but certainly we're going to see a real quick push into last here by Perilous, who are already in lobby.
And no defensive... Oh, here we go with the defensive off-class of Atomic onto Engineer, but that's a little too late. I'd prefer to see him on Heavy. That sentry's not even going to be slightly set up. It's still building by the time they come in. Uber is popped now from Perilous. They need to start focusing people down. They have somebody on the point here, though. That's Thalash. Ala falls as well, though, and they haven't found any frags from Crowns. So the focus fire really not working out for them. Everyone's in red health.
A lot of low players, and Onkaya just getting back in. A lot of players actually going to resupply. Getting kind of lucky there. I mean, a little extra damage there, and it could have gone a lot differently. Kos is backing way out here. He's taking tech with him, and is actually at a disadvantage now. Onkaya about to get his sooner, and that's the way it worked out.
Yeah, Kos apparently did get an Uber saw there, so David's got his eyes on the important things happening. That's why the Uber charge is slightly more even than it would otherwise be. Yep. The question is, do Crowns know that? Because they look like they're committing as if they have an Uber advantage. But instead, a big air shot hits onto Buttnose.
Thalash gets the medic as well! And Thalash finally making it happen on Sniper there, as he'd been trying to do for 20 minutes before, and this is... it's degrading here now. Only medic left up here now. Actually, Kos had just gotten back up. He's only at 10 here now. So this is just kind of a DM fest. Smear's going to get taken down here in lobby as well. Ala doing a nice job. Looking for Buttnose up above as well, who's creeping around bats and is going to have to back up. Perilous looking to make this 3-0, and we still got 9 minutes left, which is tons of time here.
Yeah, we certainly do. Tons and tons of time, but it doesn't look like Crowns have come up with the answer at all. It's not like they have a reply that they need time to execute. It's just they need time, maybe a tactical pause. They need to take a page out of CSGO's book and implement a tactical pause so that Crowns can just discuss what is going wrong for them here. They absolutely have to defend this last push, though. Perilous whiffed the last one utterly, so they're hoping for a repeat of that.
That's just ballsy, just standing up and just looking at it last, taking a couple pot shots. Yeah, I mean, what I'm thinking, plenty of time here. I feel like this is plenty of time for Perilous to take another couple rounds. They are in now with their Uber. They've got the Pyro finally in. They're just trying everything they can. Atomic going to blast some people away. Not really. He does get cleaned up by Tech there. Tech's going to say, you know what, I'm just going to walk on this point. We're going to be looking at 3-0. Last second, Smear comes in and gets nailed to the wall. And that says a lot, I think, about how this match has been going and this fixture as a whole.
And Perilous did a good job there of focusing down targets on the last push, something that they failed completely at doing in the previous attempt, but that time worked really well for them. Tech hit a really crisp direct onto Onkaya to make sure that he couldn't escape back into the spawn. And textbook, as you said, so 3-0, 7 minutes. Again, we get a situation where Crowns have to start putting rounds on the board, and super quickly if they want to take this one to a golden cap or even win.
Absolutely. I'm looking at Tiger, who's down low. He's chasing down Mike and somehow miraculously gets away. Tiger now not going to be able to jump. He's going to have to team up here with his medic, 22 health. Meanwhile, Perilous, I mean, I don't know, trying to find Mike way in behind. Mike is just kind of on a vacation here and is still in. In comes now Buttnose, looks like, trying to take him down, and Mike getting out. Mike is a wizard on Gully Wash, as we've alluded to. Meanwhile, though, full Uber on the side of Koss, who's going to be able to use it if he has to. I don't know, this middle point, well, here's out of nowhere is Tiger, who gets blasted, and they do force that Uber out of Koss. So on Kaya, if you can hold on to it, we'll have an Uber here to use. But again, as we said, it's under 7 minutes, Sideshow. Nice play, though, by Crowns.
Yeah, good stuff from them. This is... Oh, Onkaya eats a direct pipe and has to go back for the health, and that sets up tech for the force.
Oh, wow.
Oh, Onkaya just munches onto that one, because that was such a long-distance pipe. You should have been able to see that one coming, perhaps, but his vision was just obscured. It was just coming around the corner.
Well, unfortunate there, but they are still, I mean, trying to gap this second point here, but I've got to feel like Perilous maybe a little bit with the upper hand here. Sending players in, although, oh wow, nice frag there by Ali up top. I mean, Crowns are just going to say, F it, we're just going to try anyway. They have to at this point if they're going to try to pick up any map points at all.
Yeah, and this is the opportunity they need, because Koss is so weak as well. 25 health. He's only on 90%. He just got a saw. Someone has to clean him up. He's dodging and juking all into secret. They just need to commit one player onto him. Please, somebody from Crowns. But no, here we go. He has the Uber charge, pops it off, and they're going to be able to defend this one. And now Onkaya are going to have a huge Uber advantage, but at least they're... Perilous didn't throw the whole round away. Koss just playing that one to perfection. But you got to feel like Crowns have got to throw somebody in. If they've got an enemy medic with an Uber advantage on last with 25 health, you've missed an opportunity.
Well, I mean, I think there's such thing as playing too passively, isn't there? I mean, it is smart to play back and not want to bleed in, but maybe go in the opposite direction here. And look at this. We've got blasting away the Uber is ass, cutting a few seconds off of that, and they've got to make something happen here. Crowns, this is it. This is your time. Right in on the soldier here. Koss just dealing out arrows from the spawn door. Ali down below just waiting and gets a nice trap onto Tiger, who wasn't thinking that there was maybe a demo standing there. In come the scouts now trying to clean something up here. Looks like they're going to be able to pull this off. Ali making it happen for a while, but we've got the too little too late cap out of Cows, a.k.a. Crowns, as I mistakenly said earlier.
It looks too little too late if we think about the overall pace of this fixture and how it's gone, but mathematically they definitely can come back into it, but need to be playing at a much higher level than we've seen them play so far. They need to be playing at the same level as that previous round where they win the mid-fight and then they're able to into last and generate themselves an Uber advantage, but even more consistently. So
it's
I'm watching for
crits on
that.
this. We got Crowns onto crits, and so they're thinking along those same lines. They want to make something happen fast, but they lose the demo right off the bat here. And oh wow, but they can capitalize here. A lot of red players on the side of Perilous. Koss just doing his best to get these heals out, but I don't know. Again, Crowns maybe playing a little too passively. In jumps the soldier. They're trying to clean it up. Koss runs into his scout.
Oh,
Scout's gonna go down. My lord.
Onkaya just runs into Ali's face and gets the Ubersaur as well. He knows there's a feeling of desperation here, a palpable feeling of desperation on all of these Crowns plays. They know that they have to make things happen, and everyone just trying to man up and take it into their own hands. This has actually set them up really nicely for a last push. The fact that they're running crits, though, it's actually come to bite them in the butt a little bit, because pushing with Uber into last is much more likely to be successful than crits into last. It's less counterable.
And there's a gun, too.
Yeah,
an engineer up as well to have to deal with, which you can't crit buildings. Even a new TF2 player knows that. We've got Thalash sniper, though, up as well. He's going to try to maybe take down the sniper. We're having a look, though, at Smear. It looks like they're want to take this crits all the way in here, Sideshow. They can't wait here. There's no time.
No, this has to be big. This has to be a big play for Smear. He has to deliver. He's charging it up and delivering it in. Down goes Koss. He's got to try and put damage into other people as well here. They've already lost their engineer, and they're fine to pick onto Mike as well. This could be working out for them. Only Ali left alive, and this is going to be it. This is going to be 3-2. We've got a game on our hands here, Getawhale.
Get on that point and stack it. They are going to pick it up, and who would have thought we'd be looking at 3-2 here? The timer says 3 minutes, Sideshow, and as we said earlier, that is tons of time, especially on Gully Wash here. Gonna have to be a strong mid out of Crowns, though. Who's the MVP of this mid for Crowns, if you're a future teller, a soothsayer?
Previously, it's been both of their soldiers. They've both been playing underneath, and they've just been jumping up and doing a lot of damage. So Buttnose and Tiger, even though they haven't been getting frags, have been doing tons of damage to costing the rest of Perilous and forcing them into tiny little corners. So again, Buttnose jumps up, gets an easy frag onto Ast immediately. And even though Smirren on Kyra are weak, they have got the initial pick that they need.
Tiger's
in comes Tiger once again.
He's at 1 HP. He had gotten the pack. It goes down there. In comes the soldier. Mike gets on Kaya down to 30 or so, who gets out. Going to chase down on Kaya, and that was not the mid that they needed in this situation. So we're hoping on a miracle play here for Crowns if they're going to make this happen. I don't know what is going on with... Okay, I saw a player in way behind.
2 minutes. They have to go and commit to this fight. They need to... Oh, but... Onkaya eats a pipe, a direct pipe from Ale once again, and the finisher from Tech. And that's catastrophe. It couldn't have gone worse there for Crowns as they attempted to engage onto second.
Nail in the coffin, to abuse a, cliche here. Although Buttnose taking his shot in on cost, doesn't get it. Gets one little rocket. Coming back up on crits is Onkaya, and again, thinking kind of, I guess, time-wise, that might be the best chance here. But, I mean, owning almost every point here is Perilous, and it seems to be unlikely here now. We'll see how they play it, though. 3 players up on Crowns. I mean, they're still waiting for respawns after that fight.
Yeah, I mean, Perilous here aren't going to be too scared to commit to the push because there's only a minute left. Even if they wipe on this one, this would require some kind of TCM bite comeback. Cost has been juggled out so far, though, and this Uber is going to be awful. Buttnose again coming up with the goods there. Forces their Uber really far away. They're not going to be able to commit to this last push at all. Not going to make it 4-2. So Crowns, I mean, they have to push. They have to have some kind of miracle play here where they just storm through the map and take the entire thing in 1 minute. And there's only 3 players left alive, but Thalash on a back cap is going to ruin their dreams, Getawhale. Dreams crushed.
The dreams are crushed. Sad clowns. The saddest clowns of all today. Well, that's unfortunate as we have under a minute left here now, and so certainly we'll possibly see a mid-fight, but we almost had a miraculous comeback, Sideshow. I was pulling for it, personally.
Yeah, it was a lot closer there at the end, but... Yeah. I mean, that signals good things for DreamHack, by all means. If this team is able to come out of the slump that they've been in and hit anywhere near their potential, then they've got the ability to take rounds, take maps, possibly even take fixtures off these other teams that are at DreamHack. The performance on Reckoner was awful, to say the least, and it looked that way for the beginning half of Gullywash as well, but... They started to come back into it at the end. They had some decent mid-fights. I think, actually, there were a few misplays on the mids from Perilous at the end, but they certainly capitalized on it, and even though they weren't too successful, they certainly looked like they had a shot.
Absolutely, I'd agree with that. And, we talked about lineups a little bit, and some people might be inclined to say, well, Crowns, they were using Buttnose, but Buttnose had a hell of a game. We're going to have a look at some stats and numbers here in a second, but, I mean, I don't think you can put it on having a Merc at all. I think that all around Crowns, I'd be interested to, sort of hear maybe what their comms were like, because I'd be curious, were they just on tilt? Did they have a hard time, kind of calming down and focusing and organizing? These are the kind of questions I would like to know. What the hell
is going on with Piers? That's what I would like to know. He's playing Pocket Scout, which, you should have an excellent KD. Even if your damage isn't that high, his damage isn't that high for starters, 192, which is fair enough. There were some slow points in that game. But to go 8 for 15 is very odd. I mean, when you highlight it like that, I think it overblows it slightly because 15 death is actually on the low side of his entire team. It was a really high death game from the most of Crowns, but that's not the kind of performance you want from your Pocket Scout. And again, it comes back to this kind of what you want from Crowns is some form of stability, some backbone for their team, and you'd want Piers or whoever is playing the Pocket Scout for them. It's going to be Bevan or DreamHack, and it was Bevan in the previous map. You want the Pocket Scout, the Pocket, and the Medic to be forming that stable core, but again, Buttnose with 20 frags as well, 20 deaths, sorry, and it's like Smirrer is the lowest deaths on the team from a fragging class, so maybe they're just trying to play around him a little bit more along with, but they really need a scout in there as well, so something perhaps not warmed up, or I don't know, but there's no real excuse for going 8 for 15 as a Pocket Scout in my opinion.
I think the 0.5 KD says it all again in this situation. I mean, when we looked at how many deaths, I mean, just kind of all around on Crowns. We have a look at some of the heal stats here now as well. I mean, nothing too surprising here. Mike doing his thing with 14% heals. No, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, a bit weird that both of the demos taking the majority of the heals for these teams. Very, very strange, actually. You would expect Tech to be taking a large majority of the heals, even if Buttnose isn't. So even if they're revolving the Crowns play around Smear, it's a little bit strange to see them revolving the Perilous play around Ale. But who knows? That might be what they end up doing with both Tech and Mike playing a little bit more flexible, a little bit less hard pockety. Tech is known for playing a hard pocket, but apparently not today.
Well, Mike was flying all around as well. As you said, he's kind of the gully wash dude. And I mean, I don't know. I think I saw strong performances by all the soldiers. But yeah, I mean, when you said Perez right off the start, I mean, I feel like I didn't see him at all. And I mean on either map. Not the strongest of performances here. Looking at some of the round stats here as well. We had that one long round, of course, where Thalash was trying to line up the perfect headshot, but never quite got it. Yeah, I mean, you look at the kills, you look at the damage, especially in the kills. I mean, it was very overwhelmingly Perilous's game, 106 to 78. The mid is fairly even, but I mean, just really with the upper hand was Perilous, and we just kept waiting for Crowns to put together something that looked strong, some kind of upper hand kind of move. It didn't happen. Not tonight. No,
not tonight, and they'll have to work on that if they want to be in a position to deliver that kind of zing, the vavavoom for DreamHack Sumo. Yeah. If we take a look at the fancy logs as well, let's see if we can pick anything out of this. We can see that it's Buttnose just destroying on the last points, whether attacking or defending, it seems. And actually equal on both of the last points. So it was that's a bit of a strange one.
Yeah, I mean, I think I don't know if lobby is included in the, quote, last point in these stats. I feel like it might be, because there were a lot of fights that went down kind of in the area of lobby that were fairly close. I mean, even for Crowns, they pulled a lot of frags, but just kind of weren't able to kind of clean it up then at the end. Yeah, Buttnose was very strong. I was getting ready to say, I mean, I don't know. Do you have to bring Buttnose and AMS now to on your roster to DreamHack? Is that possible?
Yeah, maybe that's what they should be doing. A lot of the game here revolving around the mid as well. Yeah. There was quite a number of mid fights and then retakes from second and mid. We had 2 long rounds where there was a lot of fights in between second and mid as well. But I think the game was really decided in how Crowns were playing in the team fights between mid, second, and last. Like when they were on the back foot, and when they were transitioning between those areas, they tend to lose themselves. And there were a lot of fights from Crowns where you just couldn't see what they were really going for. Like they'd have people flanking. Like when we saw the incredibly long round, they'd constantly push Atomic behind, but they got the setup. But where was the
they couldn't do anything
afterwards? Yeah, they had no game plan for what would come after they got Atomic behind, and they need to come up with some ideas of how to actually bring things to these top teams, how to get themselves in a position to open up stalemates, open up choke points, because otherwise they're just going to be staring at the other team through a choke for the entirety of the map and slowly losing.
Yeah, no, I mean, I agree with that, certainly. It's good to have your plan of like, okay, we're going to get in behind, but I mean, we need to see full executed plays that they know they can do. And so we talked about it around half or towards the start that, you know, hopefully for Crowns here with this disappointing performance, they'll be able to sort of review some demos and, you know, pick up on some of those things and sort of figure out what they can work on, what they can improve. Because, like we said, I mean, it's very close that they'll be heading on up to Sweden now for DreamHack. Not a hell of a lot of time to go. So I don't know, maybe they'll be boot camping somehow. Like, I don't know where they're going to boot camp, but some things to work on. And I mean, honestly, Perilous looking real good for DreamHack, I'll be honest. Good on your boys. Good on your mates.
Yeah, they're looking pretty strong. Thalash was look at the frag differential there. He's just tearing through players from Crowns. I feel like Thalash was actually taking a few of the Ubers and taking a bit more of kind of the pockety role, whereas Ash was playing a little on the flank. I don't know whether that was something they've thought about and tried to swap up a little bit. Who knows? But this roster is kind of gelling. We saw some strange moments, like when they tried to do the arrow build and it just all went out the window, and that was just a car crash of an attempt at like a set play. But as long as they get Mike and Tech on board for the set plays that they've otherwise kind of got in the playbook, then they should be okay. It all then just comes down to LAN performance.
Yeah, and I think that, I mean, Perilous, I think, have things to learn from this as well, because that arrow building was rough, and they've got to maybe understand that if they're facing teams that are not Crowns, you know, if they're taking on the Namelesses and whoever's, that's not going to work. You can't sit around and just sort of get complacent against the best that Europe has to offer. We're going to get some interviews here shortly. I'm being told we're bringing in the boys. Bring in the boys.
Joined by Mike, Koss, and Thalash, the Roma medic and scout for Perilous, respectively. Yep. The victors tonight took all 6 points from the fixture. And first of all, before we even talk about that, we've kind of been framing this entire official in the context of it being kind of a preview of the DreamHack Summer clash. What was your opinion of Crowns coming into this? Rather than immediately talking to you about your own play, but how were you looking at Crowns coming into DreamHack?
We expect to win comfortably, to be honest. We never really saw them as like a big threat. Not online and not online. I think we're going to be better online, because we have the two best soldiers in the game, or in EU at least, on 5 ping. So we'll slam.
There you go. No uncertain terms.
Yeah, so when you're coming into this fixture, are you aiming to get a look at how they're performing on Reckoner, or is Crowns even in your thoughts here, or is it all just working on your own play towards DreamHack?
I don't know, we're really good in Reckoner. But last season we were good in Gallowatch too, but we were a bit shaky tonight. We didn't really review any of Crown's demo. We don't know what results they've had versus other teams. I think they've struggled on Reckoner, so we expected to beat them pretty comfortably on Reckoner tonight. But Gallowatch was a bit shaky. We were good on it last season, but some of the dupers and pushes we've with tech is a bit weird.
The mistakes that we made on Gallowatch weren't anything to do with the map. They're just like mistakes in like just rushing things, basically, was why we fluffed a couple of last pushes, in my opinion.
Who wants to tell us about the arrow building situation with Mike and Deck?
Mike can tell you about that.
Well, I've never arrow builded before. So
Mike had no idea how to do it.
I was just trolling.
So we decided that he would hide in a rock. In the most awkward angle possible. So that I could arrow him and build the final 3% of my Uber. It was very useful.
Carl said I had to go as far away as possible.
Yeah,
and I did.
Somewhere I can hit you.
In the skybox.
Not with your equalizer out, so you take get 14 from an arrow.
So Mike, you're telling us you were trolling? That like there's a kappa at the end of what you were doing. It was all a troll, is what you're saying?
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, what I did Mike just doesn't have a clue.
Afterwards.
Yeah, I'm not stupid. I'm just
to show you guys. Yeah, I did a proper one afterwards.
Yeah, we saw that one. We saw the fact that you beefed one like catastrophically and then failed a last push, and then managed to actually arrow build to stop yourselves being at a disadvantage, and then win a fight on mid. So yeah, it worked out for you in the end. In terms of your performance on Gallowatch overall, what would you attribute some other mistakes that you're making to? You were saying that they weren't map specific, so what are some issues that you still have to try and iron out in the next, before LAN? I mean,
like
LAN is the next time. Yeah.
We like consistently when we have an Uber advantage going into last, we push in before we fully assess the situation. Like everyone's buffed up and everyone knows what they're doing and stuff like that, and like, we just need to calm down. Well, Ali specifically needs to calm down with his ADD and just chill out and take a second to say where we're going, what we're doing, etc. What to focus, blah blah blah.
We often push in like blindly. We don't know if they have an NG. We don't know if they have a pyro.
Yeah.
We just know we have an Uber advantage and we want to go as quick as possible. But we need to stop doing that.
Like pushing with an Uber advantage badly is worse than giving away your Uber advantage, because you can wipe off a terrible Uber. Reason philosophy.
Absolutely. So talking a little bit about that then, the reason philosophy, the nameless philosophy, how did you see you guys matching up to them before DreamHack. Given that this is the last that we're really going to talk to people before the event itself, how do you guys see yourselves matching up to the Nameless squad?
I mean, we've been doing fine online versus them. I think we've beaten them more than they've beaten us in the past week. But obviously LAN is completely different. We have 3 people who's never played at LAN, and I'm pretty sure everyone has from Nameless have played. But
yeah. I think Stark will be better on LAN. I think he'll be more of a driving force of the team. He's not really, like, I haven't been that impressed with him really in scrims. He's been okay.
And that's on Pocket, just to clarify.
Yeah, on Pocket, but
Yeah,
like, I was more afraid of Captain, basically.
like, Stark was pretty good in Roberto as Pocket, and he main call for them too, but he doesn't. It's like he can't do that much as Pocket for Nameless really, and Captain's on Scout is a downgrade, and also they don't have that off-class sniper utility anymore. So
yeah, I've been seeing half people on sniper, which is fucking hilarious, to be honest.
I feel like Stark as a main caller likes everyone to play as like a group, and then just like all wait and do, and then only when like Stark's ready, he'll get like the team to do anything. He doesn't like them people doing random stuff, and I think that's resulted in them with like a really slow play style. And even when they're losing, it's really hard for them to get back into lead. The only way they could really win a game, I think, is if they win like the first round.
Is that something you're gonna deliberately be attempting to go into the... I mean, I don't want to exploit all your game plans and lay them bare for everybody before you go into DreamHack, but it sounds like you've discussed how or what your game style is going to be when you're taking on these teams at DreamHack then.
Mostly Nameless, yeah. Like, Browns and competitively Spanked just play a pretty standard game, which we're fine at. That's actually better for us, but versus Nameless we have to play slightly differently, but we've got the hang of it now. We just got to make sure to be patient and don't get annoyed or whatever at their game style, and it's fine.
A lot of it relies on getting an early lead, and in stalemates it relies on like them baiting you into doing something and then you wiping off the back of it. And as long as you don't fall into that trap, you're fine. But we've fallen into that trap hundreds of fucking times now, so we should learn from that.
So, I mean, how ready do you guys feel then for DreamHack, on the kind of eve of heading up there? I mean, is it 100% ready, 80, 90%? How do you feel?
I don't know, we feel pretty good. We'd like to more. We want to play with Tech twice tonight and on Monday. Yeah. So, obviously, we'd have liked a bit more practice with Tech, but I mean, he's still gonna be good at the game. The problem is just getting him into, our rotations or our kind of strategies and stuff, what we do, and kind of have him on board with everything. But I mean, we have Thursday evening and Friday to kind of go through stuff with him.
True.
So it'll be fine. I'm not worried about Tech's performance at all.
So is it 100%? Is it 79?
I'd say 90. Just the last 10%
90.
being Tech not being quite on the same page 100% of the time.
He did look good, though, this evening. There were a lot of questions about him on Reckoner, and I mean, just from the very first mid, he looked just right at home. And I mean, honestly, Sideshow, unless you saw something I don't, he seemed very comfortable. And I guess it's just kind of maybe the team play things, like you guys are saying, and just getting used to that. But he didn't look lost to me. He looked great to me.
Yeah, individually, he's like definitely just standard Tech, which is one of the best soldiers in Europe. He hasn't played in like a month, apparently. He's been playing Overwatch.
Never heard of it.
He's still gonna be. He's great online. He's always much better online. So
yeah, but also like Sill's really good. But I played with Tech a lot of times. Tonight it was just like nothing changed. Got right back into it straight away. There was still chemistry there, so it'd be easy to play Roma with him. Like when we started, I was playing Pocket. But I don't know why, and then they switched me to Roma, and it can be slightly awkward sometimes still, but it was like completely fine with Tech. So
we got anything else, Sideshow?
Yeah, I just want to ask a final question just about the players on your team that don't have LAN experience. Is that at all an issue for you? Do you think that might come up? Have you got any plans to counteract Ale going crazy at his first LAN, or As just retreating back into his shell, or
I think
Thalash not being able to bring his hacks?
Overhyping this LAN choke thing way too much. Like, there's plenty of players who've turned up the LAN for the first time and just pounded, but everyone just remembers like the one or two that just played abysmally.
So you think the entire concept is overhyped?
Yeah, I think it's ridiculous to think that, you know, all three of our players are gonna choke, but I guess that's not what people are saying. But no, I see no reason why they will. Unless Thalash is actually cheating, who fucking knows?
Hello? We might never know. Oh, he's right here.
I will pound.
Thalash might not be able to get to DreamHack. We just
thank you, Thalash.
Are you allowed to bring hacks over the border? That's illegal, isn't it?
I don't know whether Thalash will be able to get over the border. I booked his train with the wrong name, so.
Oh, great. Was it Thalashi? Is that what you did?
Yeah, I literally put his surname as Thalash, and apparently you need ID to get on the train.
Do you think the guy on the train is going to say, "Who the fuck is Thalashi"?
I wonder. That's a great question. Well, I mean, that's something we'll have to wait and see, but obviously the DreamHack stuff will be right here on Team Fortress TV. You guys all know that, right? Starting on Saturday, and you guys, 2 o'clock, you'll be taking on this very same Crown eSports club. Maybe we'll have a different result. Maybe not. Who knows? Yeah, I mean, that's about maybe it for us here, Sideshow. Did we have anything else we wanted to say, other than to tell people that TFTV2 is still on, if you guys want to catch the tail end of that match?
Yes, exactly.
Oh, yeah.
I think
it was 3-1 when I was looking at it on Reckoner, yeah. Well, forget about TFTV2 then. Who the hell with them? Yeah. Well, listen, if there's nothing else, we want to give our shout-outs here to DavidTheWin, of course, who did production for this match. Congratulations again to the boys from Perilous, who picked up both maps. And as we said, the next time we see these guys, they will be in Sweden. I don't even want to try to say the name of the town because people keep getting made fun of. Who can say it perfectly? All I know how to say is Sweden.
Jönköping.
Yeah.
Jönköping.
I don't know how to pronounce it. Thalash will give it his best shot.
Jönköping.
Johnny Coping.
Johnny Coping. There you go.
Uncle Ping.
Something like that. See if you can get there. If you want to catch the action for DreamHack Summer as well. A shout out as well to marketplace.tf, who are sponsoring the production as well. Dashner's on his flight already, so a big shout out to those guys. Go and visit them. They are delightful. They keep sponsoring us, even though they must be running out of money by now. So go visit marketplace.tf and give them a bit of gold kiss.
Give them a gold kiss. Well, I guess we're going to wrap it up, guys. We want to thank you all for joining us here on Team Fortress TV for this evening's fixture. And yeah, that's, like I say, that's about it. We do have some North American casts happening later this evening. If you're interested, you can find info on teamfortress.tv. But we will see you at DreamHack. Thank you very much. And on behalf of Sideshow and DavidTheWin and the boys here, have a good evening.